listening to a Hypothetically production. Spare Ribs is a podcast where wrestlers and comedians get together to talk about the similarities between wrestling and comedy. With your hosts, Scott the Pro Wrestler and Will Noonan the Comedian.
All that is left is total self-destruction. Do you, Hulk Hogan, show self-pity? Do you, Hulk Hogan, try the reason why? Do you, Hulk Hogan, try and comfort? Shove that control into a nosedive, Hulk Hogan! As you realize, Hulk Hogan, you are about to enter a world close to parts unknown. Oh, smell it, warriors.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for listening to Spare Ribs.
We should have said it at the exact same time.
Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Spare Ribs. Which, that sounds exactly like the sound clip with the isolated sound.
Yeah, I heard it. I hated myself.
Spare Ribs. And it was natural when you said it.
Yeah. Yes.
Coming at you live from Private Parts Unknown. Thought of that on the way over.
I like that.
It's not bad, right?
I like how you kept it in, too, until we started podcasting.
Yeah. Wanted to get a natural reaction on that one. It's me, your host, Will Noonan, the comedian, and your other host, Scott, the pro wrestler.
That's me.
That's you.
Don't
And
try and figure out who I am.
We'll figure out.
It doesn't matter. I'm no one.
He's El Torito.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people.
I'm Sable.
It could be a Sin Cara. There's so many guys that no one knows who they are. But today, this is a podcast where we talk about comedy, wrestling, and how the two worlds of a comedian, an independent comedian really, and an independent wrestler kind of collide on many levels.
Yes.
And
I'm trying to find something on
to
put on in the background.
the network is constantly on everywhere.
There we go.
WWE in your house. One of
13.
the most interesting logos in the history of
It's
WWE.
great. They were trying to give away a house.
It looks like a sitcom, like a WWE sitcom.
Yes. It looks like Legends House.
Yeah. Did you like Legends House?
I think I watched like 10 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Well, I think Tony Atlas is hilarious.
Did you see Roddy Piper's Nervous Breakdown?
I know, I
Or
did.
not Nervous Breakdown, but
When he was trying to use a blender?
no. Well, yeah, and then he was like, "Everyone's drinking, and I can't."
Oh, no, I didn't watch it. Maybe
Watch
I
the
should
show.
watch it. Sounds great.
You should probably mute this.
Oh,
It
yeah,
sound good.
I was trying to sit behind
Yeah, I know, but people will be like,
you can hear stuff in the background.
I could hear it, and you don't have copyright for that, and I'm reporting it to Vince, because I love him.
Well, I pay for it, so.
I paid for it too, and I'm as we know, a stockholder in the WWE.
Oh, yeah, you're part owner of the WWE.
Very, very small, I don't know, I was going to say infinitesimal, but I don't think that's a word, so.
Yeah.
Alright, I want to talk about a word. Speaking of words that are made up, I heard a word this weekend that I never heard before in my life as a wrestling fan.
What is it?
I was down in, it wasn't this weekend, it was a couple weeks ago. I was down in Connecticut City. And,
Connecticut?
In Connecticut, and I was in a big city. Because I'm trying not to give away who this guy is, because I don't want to I don't want to give anyone's identity away. But this guy's training. He's training to wrestle. He's in the beginning, and he was talking to me about. He found out there was a guy from another wrestler had come to see the show. So there was talk of wrestling in the air, and this guy figured out
Giving away the fucking business.
This guy figured out that I'm a fan. He figured out that this other guy wrestles.
Wait, were they in the crowd?
Yeah.
Well, of course you're a fan, because you're in the crowd, too.
And then actually though. Yeah. They were all just kind of hanging around. But anyway, this guy goes, we start talking wrestling, you start talking about different promotions, and this guy goes about one promotion, he's like, oh, well, yeah. It's really good. It's a total spot fest. Everything's a spot fest. And I was like, I go, yeah. And I was like, what's a Spotfest?
Oh, no.
And then he kind of didn't have an answer for me. And then I was like, he walked away, and I like looked at the comedian next to me who also likes wrestling. I go, you never hear anyone say like, hey, how was that stand-up show you went to last night? It was all right, but it was a total joke fest. It was just jokes. Nothing but great jokes, one after another. It's like, who wants that?
Well, Spotfest kind of just means like that nothing had a story. It was just moves.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
So it's a derogatory kind of.
A little.
There
bit.
is a little something to it.
Yeah, there's a little something to it. I don't think a guy who's just starting training, going out there fucking burying people who are actually working on shows.
That's kind of like that's similar to a new comedian does that too, though. A lot of times you'll meet a new guy. I did this myself.
Yeah.
I remember once I was like at a comedy club, and this guy was like, "Oh, see that guy on stage? He opens for Monique," and I was like, "Ugh, Monique, she sucks." You know? And the guy just looked at me like, "Monique tours all over the country. Has a show in Vegas and has sold like 1 million albums. So, like, even if you don't like her comedy, she doesn't suck." You know what I mean? And I was just kind of like, "I'm an idiot," you know. And that was a lesson learned that way.
Yeah, I see it on. Well, here's the Facebook thing again, but I've recently just been deleting people. Like, even if they're my friends, I just delete them. And I probably won't ever talk to him again anyways. Like,
over what?
Yeah, it's like, oh man, RVD sucks so bad. And instead of writing something that's just going to get me in trouble or, start a fight.
Do you hide him? I just hide him.
I just delete him.
You delete him fully, huh?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. What
Wow,
are they
man.
going to fight me? Yeah, he's RVD sucks so bad. And I was like, yeah, compare fucking bank accounts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And he's getting older, too. Compare ages, too. I mean, a lot of guys are...
these people are just fucking idiots who...
And a lot of miles on RVD's body, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was great. And he made millions of dollars doing it, so...
And he was high the whole time.
Yeah. Man, he did everything he ever wanted to do in life. What an asshole.
Dane Cook gets a similar kind of deal where it's like people will be like, oh, man... fucking Dane Cook, or they'll use him as like an example of like a guy. Oh, this guy's got like a real Dane Cook thing going. It's like, oh, he's got a real could fill a fucking massive stadium thing going, or he's got a whole like people fucking adore him thing going. Like, what is it? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's great.
And it's this dismissive. It's all boils down to like jealousy and fear and shit like that. But I was gonna ask you about that because comedians have like Facebook groups are really big right now, like. This group's just for us, guys, like where we compare industry notes and shit on people, and like, do wrestlers have things like that?
No, not really. I mean, like close friends will just like
kind of
get like a little group chat on, on group text, but like it's not like we're.
So is the internet like, but obviously like you're deleting people and shit people, so that's
I just don't want it to like
shit must be
fucking
like,
ruin my day, you know? Like if I see it all the time, I just get.
Well, I don't think people realize, like, how much of themselves they're showing when they say something like... Someone might think, like, I'm just sitting here in Dunkin' Donuts, like, tweeting that I hate RVD. But they don't even realize that a friend of theirs or an acquaintance of theirs is going, like, God, what a piece of shit Tom is for saying that. Like, and then they don't realize, like, how they really look when they...
they just look like fools.
I always say that...
It's always people who've never done anything. Like, they maybe wrestled on, like, one show for the past... 3 years, once or twice a year, you know. So,
there's always
just
people,
fucking clowns.
There's always people in any business, I think, who are kind of they're talking the talk, they're trying to fake it till they make it, but really that's all they really want anyway. They don't give a shit about doing good work. They just want to like be in the gang. We were talking about that a little bit last time. Yeah. Well,
so if anyone was my friend and then is not my friend on Facebook now. Don't fucking contact me about it because I don't want to talk to you.
And now you know why.
Yeah.
Stop shitting on RVD.
Stop shitting on wrestling.
He's awesome. Well, I got some questions too, so I guess I'll just bang through some of these.
Yeah.
A lot of them I was hoping would spurn great conversation.
It probably could.
This one's this one's a little lighter than the last one. What are some of the worst gimmicks you've seen in the indies?
Oh, any gay gimmick?
Oh.
Like, I fucking...
That goes back all the way, though, to, like, the beginning of wrestling, right? Like, the gay gimmick?
Yeah, it was easy heat back in the day when, like, everyone fucking hated gay people, you know? But we're at a time... It's like if you did a This is ridiculous, but it's like a black gimmick now. Like,
Yeah.
it would have gotten over way bigger in the 60s, you know?
Yeah.
You know, like
That'd be funny, like a black, like not just a black guy, but like a preacher who's trying to do good stuff. Black guy. That'd be like a funny gimmick in the '60s.
oh yeah,
like a
it
Martin
would be
Luther
great.
King gimmick.
Oh god, but I hate it because they're like they just do the cheapest stuff, and I see it a lot. Like, oh, there's cross dressers, and there's this. Oh, and they put a little makeup on, and then they do these little foo spots where they're, you know, like
Kind of the cheap.
oh, it's just so like. There's so much more
That's
stuff
funny.
you can do.
First thing that jumped into your mind was gay, like
gay gimmick.
like fey wrestlers.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
and if it's been done great on TV before,
Yeah. Well, who would you
and
say
without
that's, like,
saying like
Goldust? Is
yeah,
probably
Gold
like
Dust,
the best.
but he never came out and was like, I'm gay, you know, like you
Yeah, just
know what I
kinda,
mean?
he's more weird.
He was
than
weird as
gay.
shit
Because he does
He
it
was
to
a
women
human
and men.
Oscar.
Yeah. That's
Made
funny,
of
though.
gold, a human made of gold who was just weird.
Anything else that jumps to mind? I'm trying to think
Oh,
of
gothic gimmicks. Oh, if I never see another gothic
Yeah.
gimmick, like you're not going to replace the Undertaker.
The Crow.
Yeah,
The Crow
the Crow
thing
came
with
out in
Sting.
'94. Sting did it great.
Yeah,
for-
but even then, like I think that turned a lot of people off of
in fucking
WCW,
juggalos.
you know?
Oh,
Yeah,
fucking ugh, yuck.
yeah.
Just wanna
That's all that
spit.
stuff's ugly. Well, what do you think about guys who wear face paint? Because like it's a tough thing, you know. Like it goes on perfect, and it's very. I always wonder about that. Like a guy like
What are you trying to get at here?
What's that guy? Hey, I don't know anything.
What do you mean by
about
face paint?
anything.
Like makeup?
like Prince Devitt? You know that guy?
Oh yeah,
Like he's doing airbrush
he's doing
now.
full body.
And
it's great.
Gold Dust as another example. So you see these guys coming in through the door,
Mm-hmm.
coming in through the curtain. They look gorgeous with this face paint. It's flawless. It's obviously care has been taken to apply it. And then, like, depending on the match, pretty quickly that shit's smeared. It's like
Yep, peels right off.
Peels right off. Sometimes it always looks a little different. Like some guys, it looks like. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it just like looks like kind of like oily and it spreads, but other times it looks like there's
There's
lines
different types
in
of
it,
face
and
paint,
like
yeah.
you'll see like the individual lines come up. And I always just wondered, like, as a wrestler, like, do you like wearing it, or do you like or wrestling a guy who wears it? Is there any sort of like
Sometimes
effect?
you can get on your gear if they wear like the oil based.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what are the effects?
The
of
acrylic
makeup?
just like kind of peels right off. It dries on your face and just peels right off.
Yeah.
I like that better.
That
it
looks
doesn't
cooler,
destroy
too.
people's gear, and it's glossy.
It looks cool when a guy's kind of half kicked to shit and like that paint is
Yeah,
kind of
it's
hanging
like cracked off. Yeah, like Warrior. Warrior always
Yeah.
had acrylic paint because it was shiny, and like halfway through the match, maybe just around his eyes was left, or if it was a really long match like Mania 6, he had like no face paint left at the end,
And you're like,
which is great because it looks like he's going through a battle. Like,
yeah, I like that
because
too.
you can't get punched in the face and like beat to shit every match, or else you're never gonna want to wrestle again.
I like when you can kind of see like the flakes, like just the little
Yeah.
flakes of it, and
Yeah,
they're,
just-
like maybe some blood mixed in, and they're just like, oh yeah, that's always a cool thing when a guy kind of has that tough win with the face paint and blood, and at the end he's like completely beaten to shit. It's just a great mix of all that stuff.
It looks real.
Yeah, and I dig it. Like I've always thought if I were ever a wrestler, I'd be a face
I
paint.
know.
guy.
I see you put up those fucking pictures.
Oh, yeah.
of you
My dorky. Me and
with
my
the WWE symbol on your dick.
Me and my friend, I should get into this finally. Me and my friend, Pat, I don't even know how many fucking hours. I'm sure if you add them together, it's like weeks of our lives have been spent. Like, we both have these custom dudes. I have like 7 costumes, like, and we've customized the entrances, and it's like the way the game works is like you enter yourselves into like the universe, and then it's just like it plays out.
Yeah.
So every time you play, me and this dude have spent hours, and we fucking, we're smoking a little bit of grass during this time.
Yeah.
So that'll make you go like, oh my god, I'm gonna pause it, and then I'll take a screenshot of it. And I get super into the gear. Like my friends make fun of me. They're like, "Hey, dude, you've spent 3 hours on this gear. Only like no one will ever see."
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm into it, but I get into the face paint. I think it's cool.
Well, I used to make like full rosters worth of guys when I was a kid. Like, obviously couldn't wrestle. I was 13, so I would just fucking. Like, you can see I still have my Nintendo 64 set up with
No Mercy.
No Mercy, and then my Japanese games are over there, which are fucking better.
That's cool.
And, every once in a while I'll bring them out and just play them for fun, but...
You should get the new game, man. It's fucking great. The 2K14.
It's not the same as those, I'm telling you.
Oh, the amount of... You can put in, like, for each guy, you can set up, like, every single move for each guy.
That's fun.
Like, it's amazing.
It's amazing. Tell you the Nintendo 64 ones are better.
I think it's probably better for a guy who, it's more of a wrestling simulator for a guy who's never doing any wrestling. So you get to be like, oh, like I would do this, I would do that, I would do this.
I don't know. I could go on for hours. Let's not talk about video games too much.
Yeah, but it is fun. It is an aspect of it because I think it made me a better fan of not only a better fan, but like a more knowledgeable fan because you're doing move repetition and hearing the fucking computer lawler like going like, that's rest to you! And you're like learning the moves as you do it, Because that's been like the thing for me, like I always so passively watched that I never like gave only the big moves and the finishers what I really know the names of. Yeah. And now, as I get more and more into it, I'm getting into more like, I actually like, I was trying to explain to someone the other day how like indie wrestling, being an indie fan and like a WWE fan, it's almost like two different things.
Yes.
And I get a different sort of thrill out of each. And I'm like, I look forward to indie matches like way more than I look forward to like pay-per-views.
Really?
What? In a weird way, like it's just
that
a different
being there
thing.
Live and that close to it.
Like when the WWE comes to town, I'm like, I kind of want to get a ticket. I don't want to be like so far away, and I'm like, what should I do? But like when it's an indie show, I'm just like, when I'm driving there, I'm always like, this is just gonna be fun, buy a T-shirt, go home, it'll be a good day.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Yeah,
you're there, right on top of it. Yeah, every seat's a good seat.
Yeah, you don't have that sting of like, man, this was fun, but was it $250 worth of fun?
Yeah,
you're kind of like. When you go to an indie match, you're just like, I spent like $40 today. I got a T-shirt to wear. I have like
a belly full of food,
full of great food, memories. Saw some crazy shit, and just the pace is like a fucking Spotfest, bro.
you will see a Spotfest on every show, but that's fine.
Yeah, I like a Spotfest, man. Like from time to time, that's what you want, and especially like I think just like. There's a great art to putting together a great stand-up comedy show that a lot of people. If you don't notice it, it's been done well. If you just don't notice the seams of the show and it just seamlessly happens and it's great, they did their job. And it's the same with an indie show. When you go and the Spotfest follows the Iron Man or like the submission match, and then it's a Spotfest. That's a reason,
Sometimes there's 4 matches in a row that are not exactly the same, but. The same kind of like move. They can burn you out too.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
And I know indie workers themselves, like you guys can see that shit from like a mile away.
Oh yeah.
Right? And the basic like I've even heard guys, smarky guys in the crowd, be like, armbar, like German super, like whatever the standard like hip toss like.
When
they're calling it out and they're sounding like annoyed, which always cracks me up because they're always in terrible shape, and it always makes me just want to go like, I'm not in great shape, but like I feel like I'm like, dude, you're just like you're fat. Like,
you could never ever do this.
You couldn't do any of this stuff. Like you couldn't. Yeah. You'd have a hard time climbing into that fucking ring right now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You ever seen like when a guy goes in to take a photo after the show, he pays the money or something, and he's trying to climb in through the ropes, and you can tell like
so awkward.
And he's like, I've always wanted to do this, and then they realize like I can't. Do this. It's not as easy as I thought.
I love it when they go to climb into the ring and they think they're going to be able to hop over the top rope.
Oh, yeah.
And they just fucking eat it hard. Like, going right to the mat. I
Oh
love
yeah,
that. Yeah.
I've seen one guy.
They get
once
caught up in the ropes. They
did
don't
the whole
understand.
like he's gonna step over it thing.
Yeah.
And he got caught and did that. He like fell and he hit, and then he looks all awkward. I wish most people like.
I wish every fan had to do that.
And I bet most guys go into like I would. This is the kind of guy I would be. Like I'm gonna train to be a wrestler, and then I'd go in and I'd just like climb up to that top turnbuckle and I'd be like you know what I mean? I'm gonna fucking do crazy shit.
And the second you would get like 1 foot on the bottom rope, we'd scream at you.
Yeah.
Get your fucking foot off the bottom rope.
Exactly, right?
Run for 10 minutes.
And then I'm sure even when it gets to like, all right, today we're gonna do like crossbody or something. You get up there, you're like, wow, this is higher than I thought. And, wow, is this guy gonna catch me? And
everyone sucks at it.
Wow, I could like hit my head on that. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be way different.
It is. It's so different.
There should be a thing at wrestling shows, like you know how you go to like a Sox game or something. There's like throw your fastball, and there's like it looks kind of like the grass, and you can kind of simulate it.
Yep.
There should be like just a dude there who's not on the show, and it'd be like get power bombed by, or like take a bump from, take a bump from Tommaso Ciampa, and he just like there, and he just like, all right, I'm just gonna hold your breath and keep your head in, or something like that. Gives you a quick thing and. Like, I bet most people bet, wow, I have a new respect for...
You'd have to have so many waivers that they'd have to sign.
I was saying that to Brutal Bob, like, I want to do that. I want to go one day, just like, when you guys are training or something, just like nothing, major, just I want to see what it's like to take a couple bumps.
Come tonight.
So I can, not tonight, Scott, but I got a lesbian wedding to go to. But I always wanted to know what it's like to...
take a
couple bumps just so I can watch and kind of having a.
You can come to the New England Pro Wrestling Academy anytime. Brian Fury will make you sign a waiver, and you can take whatever bumps you want.
I was, you know how some guys train like that could be a new trend in like fitness, like wrestling training.
It's terrible for your body. It's terrible. Yeah,
I'm trying to start a new business.
Like going to boxing.
Well, you know how people do that? They like make it. Yeah. They make it into like a
kickboxing gym
or judo, and they don't really. It's more like this is more just to stay in shape. I'm not gonna try and get my fucking. I'm not gonna win a judo tournament. That could be like you could get guys who are like into wrestling in there and be like, I'm just trying to lose 10 pounds. And then
as long as they're paying the bills,
that's what I'm saying. That could be a good side business. Idiots like me would be like, I've always wondered what it'd be like to like
get in there and run the ropes and
I'm more
giant
like
bruises on your arm and your ass.
I want to be that guy who surprisingly, well, I guess talking about it now won't make it a surprise, but like I'd love to be that guy who's one day at a wrestling show and they're like, hopefully I'm a well-known enough comedian that they're like, oh, look who's here, like from that terrible sitcom, like so-and-so. And then halfway through the match, I can actually take like a pretty sick bump because I know how to do it. You know what I mean?
I see.
I think it would
You're trying to work your way onto the show without having to actually wrestle.
Without having to actually wrestle, just by getting my butt kicked a little bit,
if you were on a sitcom, you'd have to pay for the ambulance ride because we wouldn't let you get up,
Yeah,
exactly. You can't just take the big sick bump and then roll out and be like, hey, all these fans, look at us. Yeah, it's fake.
Oh, no, I would totally do the whole... I would super
Andy
sell it.
Kaufman.
Yeah, that would be my goal. Like, I would like to do stuff like that. I still kind of want to do stuff like that.
Well, I think we could work something out.
Yeah.
Just get famous.
I'm working on it. For now, it's just going to have to be, like, late-night shows at bad comedy clubs. Good comedy clubs. Be like, yeah, it's the 11:30 and Ronkonkoma, Long Island. Who's this running in? Oh my god! But yeah, I always thought that would be cool, and I like it when they do that. Like a guy like Hugh Jackman or something, he's gonna be on soon.
He's gonna be on
it's like he's in good enough shape that he could probably like do one or two things. And I thought Michael Strahan like pussed out by not getting thrown around a little bit. Like
I think
he probably has
with like certain contracts that
Yeah, he probably has like.
So Ben Roethlisberger, the fucking ESPN was all over him. Like, why didn't he didn't do anything. I think he like stood in the ring and like, why didn't you wear a helmet?
Oh my god!
It's like, this is ridiculous.
Josh Reddick was in the crowd once and he did something funny. They just did the like, hey, it's Josh Reddick.
Yeah.
He's here, and he looked to his buddy who was just like his friend, and he grabs him by the head and he starts like,
yeah.
And I was like, that's nice, you know?
Yeah, they're having fun.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
I remember Gronkowski was on NXT.
Yeah, like a few episodes because they tape him at one.
He was just in the crowd.
I met him
watching
once,
his buddy.
There's a photo of me. I look like a fucking schoolboy because I'm like so. I wasn't really super excited to meet him, but I was excited.
Was it actually him, or were you in a Dunkin' Donuts with
No,
his
really
cutout?
It was really him. I was at a fucking party and or like a.
You're gonna get him in trouble.
No, it was a legit. He was like allowed to be
girls?
there. It was the Dirty Water TV Awards.
Oh, I
big
didn't know what
event.
was coming after that word, dirty.
Big event, but man, what a big fucking dude. He should wrestle. He's a monster.
Farouk? Yeah, he is.
Does Farouk? He has kids, right? Who's his kid?
I have no idea.
He has a kid that wrestles, I think.
I don't think so.
Well,
Something Simmons.
I don't know. That you just made me think of something, but now I can't
Now
remember
it's
what
gone.
it was. We were talking about what were we talking
Does
about?
that say hygiene?
Oh yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to talk about. Was
You want me to talk about wrestling stinky motherfuckers?
well, yeah, I was gonna say one of the things was one of the questions I got, which I thought was good, was how do you deal with wrestling a guy you personally dislike?
Oh.
And then I thought hygiene might fall under that because I would think a reason you dislike someone in wrestling would be hygiene.
Oh, yes.
And that's something I think about
Sometimes
too much when I watch
people's
wrestling.
breath stinks.
Interesting.
It's fucking gross.
Interesting. See, I would go with
They're like
ass.
breathing right in your mouth.
Sometimes
you
you're
know?
right in a guy's ass too. I was like, I remember. You ever watch that show Hard Knocks? The football. It's like a document. It's like on HBO. There was one. Carson Palmer. He's talking. It's like they're mic'd up, you know.
Yeah.
And but they're being filmed from so far away that sometimes they forget.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking to his center, and he's like, and he's the QB, so his arms, his hands like in the guy's ass all day, and he's like, hey man, he's like, come here. He's like, I don't know what you're doing, but you gotta take care of yourself down there. He's like, smell my hand. It's like it smells like a fucking bathroom right now, like a men's room. He's like, and then he walks away. He's like, take care of yourself, dude. And I'm just like, you know, it's a workout.
Yeah.
Like you're wrestling. Like there's probably some nerves involved. Farting, fucking. Who knows what the guy? How clean the guy's gear is.
Yeah, sometimes knee pads just get stinky.
You can smell the dude's gear, like
when they take it out of their bag.
Or when they walk by you, if you're on the aisle and the dude walks by you, some dudes you can smell that dude.
Really?
Oh yeah, man. That's what fans talk about.
I just don't know. Really? Yeah, I try to have clean gear.
I went to one show. I don't remember who the guy was. I really don't. I'd probably name him, but he had like dreads. He had like tons of dreads, and he.
Did his fucking hair stink?
He sat. They threw him in the chair next to me and this kid. It was like a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And I was at the show alone.
Oh, that's good.
I went to go see Promise. So I was like,
okay.
I was like, yeah, I'll go. I was like, I had no show, and all my friends had shows.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll just go watch somebody. And it was a great time. But this guy got thrown next to me, and he gets up, and the kid's dad was not a fan. He was just there to take the kid.
Yeah.
And he looks at me. He's like, "Do you smell that fucking guy?" Yeah. And the kid goes, "Me too, man. What the fuck?" Like it was just funk, you know. It was like a hockey bag mixed with like cigar.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
And I was wondering what that must be like, because that to me would be the hardest thing about wrestling. Would be getting like right in a dude's armpit or right in a dude's like.
I try to always make sure I have like a deodorant in my bag, or I borrow my partner's deodorant or someone else's, because I know when I stink, you know, and gum, so your breath doesn't smell fucking bad. You're talking right into someone's mouth, like you're right fucking there. But some people, this makes me want to spit. Fucking gross. Their breath stinks.
In your face, too.
Yeah.
I see a lot of guys drink coffee, so you must have that coffee.
One thing is, like, when I was a kid, my brother used to put me in the dragon sleeper all the time, because he would call it, well, I was going to say my last name, but I won't.
Oh, yeah.
But he would call it my last name sleeper. And, he would stink. Because my brother, I don't know, we were just kids and we were fucking, wrestling around.
Yeah,
he was
kids are
like 6 years older than me, so. But, and I would hate it because my face and my nose would be right in his armpit. And,
yeah, I mean, I played hockey and, I mean, you have all that gear on.
I smelled the hockey locker room, too.
Yeah.
It stinks.
Yeah, it's just getting into it with those guys, like, I don't know, I'm not a very, like, I don't like a lot of physical contact anyway, like, in my life. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's why I like wrestling so much, because I don't sit there, when I go see a comic, or even a band, there's a part of me that's sitting there going, like, I want to be up on that stage myself. And
yeah.
I don't, like, I'm enjoying this, but, like, I want to be up there. It's like there's a jealousy thing where I just like performing so much that I can't enjoy it. But when I go see wrestling, I just truly enjoy it. Like, I'm just a fan, like, and I just have a good time. And I've started to ruin it for myself slightly by getting into it so much and learning. It used to be like no match was bad, like every match was like, oh man, like, and I can still find something good in everything, but I do catch myself having like somewhat smarky thoughts at times, and I'm like, don't be that guy, dude.
Yeah.
Don't have that thought.
But at least you know not to be that guy.
Well, and it's just
enjoy it.
It's just tough to not it'd be like if I was watching 4 hours of baseball every day, I'd be like, this guy's fucking not, I'm just as big of an asshole when I watch baseball or basketball. I'm like, oh, he needs to pivot. It's like, what do I know, really,
Yeah.
And it's tough to not become kind of like
But
that
watching
guy.
indies is like watching AA, single A, or triple A baseball, you know what I mean?
I get
like,
smarky thoughts more when I watch the WWE than I do when I watch indies.
Oh, yeah.
And when I watch indies, I'm just like, I look at those guys as like almost like some sort of weird brethren where I'm like, yeah, we're both like out on the road.
Yeah.
And, like, we're both like making shitty money, and we're both like, we both have dreams, and we're both passionate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
That's kind of how I feel. Even those guys at Beyond who I don't know, they're just young guys.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell they're new just because they're by their age, and I'm like, man, these guys, they have that fire, that eye of the tiger that like young comedians have too.
Yeah. There's always going to be young guys on indie shows.
Well, you got to respect people who get into a business where money is not. It's not even like, it's such a fucking long shot.
Yeah.
Like the dream, most people, even when they're idiots and they go in wrestling and comedy, are like, I just want to do it for a living.
Yeah.
I don't need to be a star. I just want to do it for a living. That's like the dream for most people, even when they start, like most people become actors. They're like, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be a movie star.
Yeah, there are those people, though, that are like, I just want to be a star, and it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that kills you when it doesn't happen.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing. That's advice to anyone out there. It's like, you gotta, like, if your only goal is to be the most famous guy in the world, it's like, that's not in your control. Like, you can still be the best and not be that guy. So it's like, the goal should just be to do what you love doing for money.
Yeah.
But that can be a problem. And you can tell right away when you're dealing with someone who's in it for that reason. Actually, that kind of is the same kind of question. Because in comedy, there's guys who are, you can tell they're actors and they're in it to kind of get, I don't know, maybe a TV part or something like that. There's probably a similar thing in wrestling, right? Where some guys, they tried bodybuilding or something, or they tried something else. And
yeah, but sometimes they don't make it through the training process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I've heard that on...
Because it's not easy to... And if you're making the wrong impression, like if you show up and you want to work hard and you want to do it, then you'll be fine. But if you show up, chip on your shoulder, like, I was a bodybuilder and I was this and that, but now I'm just going to, give this a shot.
Yeah.
You know nothing about wrestling and you talk back and that kind of shit, like...
That's not going to go over.
Weed you out quick.
That would be the same in comedy, too.
Yeah.
You get people who right away, they like heckle and shit, and you're like, what are you doing? And it's like, why do you think that's okay?
Yeah.
And they're just like going, like, giving you that face, like, well, come on, man. Like, I already know everything.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
I've had people, when I wrestle on shitty shows, go... wrestle in the second or third match and then go sit in the crowd. My fucking blood starts to boil. And I had one of them, like, I don't want to say heckle me, but, like, try and start chants and shit. And when I got to the back, I fucking ripped him a new asshole. Yeah, because
were they mocking or were they?
Yeah, kind of just trying to like start a chant and like, you suck, this and that, but they're trying to do it to get the fans into it, but
and they were
in a fucking match earlier in the show,
and they were still in their character, the wrestling character.
Not like he had a mask on during his match.
So it's
like
he
was
getting
just
over
fucking,
during your match from the crowd.
Yeah,
basically.
pretty much. I mean, there weren't a lot of people there because it was just some shitty show.
But that's the same thing as a comic. That's the same. What they're doing is the same as it's like, hey, I'm done, and I still want to be on stage, so I'm just gonna harp in on your fucking shit somehow and steal some.
It's making me fucking stressed out talking
about
it.
There's a big pro wrestler across from me getting pissed off right now. I'm feeling what a lot of scared baby faces feel.
Yeah, like this guy screamed at him so bad in the back, like I was threatening to fucking fight him and. And shitting on, I don't know who the fuck trained him, some fucking garbage fucking wrestler trained him. So I told him, I asked him who trained him, and he said it. So I said, you're better off being trained by fucking the TV, you piece of shit. And then he was trying to be nice and like, all right, hey, let's go talk about this. And I was like, get the fuck away from me. They're just screaming at the top of my lungs.
So 2014 to be like, listen, I was a huge prick. Let's go have you forgive me for this.
Okay, yeah. I fucking tear your throat out.
Ugh, that's annoying. That there's those kind of people. I guess they're just everywhere. Let's get you onto something that'll put you in a better mood, Scott.
Wait, we had a question earlier, and I think we skipped over.
Hygiene.
How do you fight, or how do you wrestle someone that you personally do not?
Oh, well, there you go. Perfect thing. So, what if you had to wrestle that guy? You've got to work together. I mean, with comedy, there's things. I've got people I don't like, girls I've dated that I can't. But they're comics.
Yeah.
We gotta work together. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've had times where a chick I've hooked up with is like not speaking with me, and I'm hosting. I mean, this happened like 3 years ago, right? She's not speaking to me, and I'm like, she's hosting the show that I'm like middling on, and so like we gotta do a whole like. She's like, she has to. Not only does she not even speak to me, she has to give me like a good intro. Like, this next guy, hilarious guy, been traveling. You know what I mean? I can see her like just. It's like, it looks like it's like, it tastes bad. You know what I mean? Like, just saying it.
It's bitter.
And then she fucking, like, I gotta shake her hand. That's the first, like, contact we've had, like, since our horrible
she was shaking
breakup.
your penis.
And it was, like, it was just that icy, like, lip. Like, this is for them only. And it was awkward. And that's just a handshake. I can't imagine if we had to, like, go out there and roll around.
Fist fight,
and communicate.
When I was trained, and people would, like, I feel like I'm saying like a lot.
That's going to happen. I do it a lot, too.
I'll try.
I'm trying to break myself of the habit. It's been 2 years of...
Yeah.
It's not really
I'll
going
do
anywhere.
my best to not say it, so people don't want to fight me.
It's good that you're aware of it.
Yeah. I try not to do it because I have to cut promos eventually. If I had to wrestle someone that I didn't like, I don't know what I'd do. Because I don't really have to do that so often.
Yeah.
I'd probably just go in there and be a professional about it. But if they also didn't like me, and that first shot was nice and stiff, I'd give them one back, and I'd see how it'd go from there. But
that's what we were
I'd
talking
definitely
about.
try and be a professional about it. My trainer would, when he knew two people didn't like each other, immediately on the next show that they were booked against each other.
Oh,
always,
that's cool.
Always. Like, they would get into it in the locker room. This was like 2004, 2005. And they'd like yell at each other, or one of them was like fucking the other one's girlfriend or something, and they would just make them. He would make them wrestle the next night or the next show.
That's good because that teaches professionalism. Because it's like
that, or the match is really good because they're beating the fuck out of each other.
That's true too. And they're probably stiff as fuck.
Oh yeah, sometimes that's great.
Well, there's all kinds of like. On the message boards and shit, there's always someone finding a new, like, oh, I found this match where clearly, like Terry Funk is pissed and he's killing the other guy. Like,
I love shoot fights. Like, I don't know if you ever saw it, Antonio Inoki versus the Great Antonio. We'll probably watch that later.
Yeah,
this big fat guy just starts stiffening
Oh,
Tony
I did see. I have
Inoki.
seen this one.
And he's like punching his stomach. And then Tony Inoki fucking loses it after he takes like one stiff shot to the back of the head and just kicks him in the face until his nose is busted wide open. He's just bleeding everywhere. Oh, it's great. I love seeing that shit.
That JBL Blue Meanie one in the middle of a fucking...
Oh, that was fucking...
Battle Royale or something?
One Night Stand.
Royale?
No, it was just at the end of the show. They did a big,
big
fist
run.
fight. And he was kicking Blue Meanie's ass. And then Blue Meanie had to like celebrate at the end. And his face is covered in blood. He's all fucked up as he's jamming out to Let the Bodies Hit the Floor.
Not on the network, though.
Oh, they took that off?
Yeah, they don't have any of that shit on.
What?
Anything that's like almost all the ECW music is gone. Like, Enter Sandman's gone.
Well, I know that they had that song.
Oh, maybe that one's in
We'll
there.
see. I'll watch it.
But Enter
That's my
Sandman
favorite
is
show.
like not in it, so that's like it's so like weird.
Oh, it's a real generic.
You know what I mean? It's just like some like sounds
Jim
like
Johnson.
Jim Johnson took a dump.
Yeah, I was watching a DDP match earlier, and it was a real shitty take on Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was so awful.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about ring rats and groupies.
Ring rats. Okay.
This is something I wanted to talk to Biff Busick about.
We should have. Let's call him
Because you should do you call him up on your phone with it? We're talking ring rats. Because this guy, I think, has some good ring rat stories.
Who? Biff?
Yeah. Well, I'm just guessing because he was surrounded by broads at the last show I saw him.
I don't know.
And I was like, I don't know if he has good ring rat stories at all, but I just said to him, we were shooting the shit. First and only time.
Sometimes everyone makes it seem like they have ring rat stories, but they don't.
It's the same with comedy. Actually, like every now and then a chick will like throw herself, but it's way more often than not. When I was single, I did not get like
really.
Most of the chicks I was hooking up with wasn't through comedy. When I was a karaoke guy, I got a lot more women doing that.
Really.
I mean, you got to work for it just as much as you do as a comedian. Like, you know what I mean?
Ugh.
You can kind of set up a little something from the stage, like a eye contact. But like, you're still got to like talk them up. And I remember a guy saying, buy him a drink and all that shit. So I've had a girlfriend for years. I hate all that. I hate all the running around.
That's why I fucking just got married.
Yeah. I thought it was funny how you said you worked your life into marriage. Yeah. I was like, because I was editing, and I was like, that is A, such a wrestler thing to say, and B, just so funny and
you have a great job, and you clean the house.
And we're in this nice fucking pad right now. In private parts unknown.
I'm gonna go fake fight my friends in my underwear in front of people, and you can clean the house.
And call nerds, call stupid people stupid. Did you listen to Dean Ambrose when he was on Cole Cabana's podcast?
I did, yeah.
And he was like, me and my friends think this is really funny. We quote it all the time. He's like, whenever I go to an indie show, it seemed like no matter where I was, there was always these pockets of nerds. He's like, even in the locker room. And every show, my buddy will just like lean into me and be like, pockets of nerds.
It's true.
And it's fucking true. Huh? Like, and
they flock together.
And I've noticed, like, because of blogs and blog talk radio and like, I mean, really anyone since like 2005, anyone's a journalist. You know? And when you're an indie wrestler or an indie comic, it's like you got to talk to anyone who wants to talk to you. Mm-hmm. But I've noticed at the shows, like, sometimes you see a guy talking into a recorder in the corner of the room, and you're just like, this guy does not want to be doing this right now.
Yeah.
And this is not going to get heard by that many people, so...
I've had the opportunity to call into some blog talk radio things.
I'm doing one Sunday, I'm not down on them.
And I do it with my tag team partner, and we just hijack the fuck out of the show.
Yeah.
Just talk about whatever we want. And a lot of the times they don't have follow-up questions, so it'll be like, how'd you get into wrestling? And then you give them some fake answer because you don't want to tell them anything real. And then just go on for 15 minutes and hang up. And
I mean, I
it
can
makes
see
your
it in
promos better because
It's true. I mean, all that stuff is, and that's why I never say no to anything either, because I'm like, hey, and also it's when you do break, it's people are gonna go back to iTunes and listen to that. Like when you do break, that could get 10,000 downloads one day. So it's like you better try. Yeah. You know what I mean? And better do it. And it's good for people to type in the name of your tag team or whatever and see like a lot of shit. No matter what, as long as it's just that Google list is long, that's good.
Definitely.
But like. I've like approached dudes about doing hypothetically. It never sounds good to say I've approached dudes.
It's okay. I approach dudes all the time.
I've approached dudes. I remember talking like briefly. I was buying a T-shirt from Tommaso when I was like,
nice
guy.
Oh,
I do a podcast. Like,
no,
like just kind of trying to kind of. Lightly, kind of, and I'm kind of afraid of him. Like, I know he's a great guy, but like, there's certain guys like
he's intense,
just like comedy. There's certain guys you can walk right up to and be like, "Hey, I'm Will." Like, nice to meet you. And other guys you're a little bit like Biff. Now that I've met him, I'm like, "What a nice guy." But first few times I saw him, I was never like, "I can't wait to go up and shake Biff's hand." After it's scary, So it's like, I remember saying that, and I could see him being like, Like, you're the 6,000th person to ask me to do a podcast, so... And it's like this whole thing...
I'm sure Tommaso would do it.
I'm sure he would do it, too. And he also did give me his email and all that shit. Like, and everyone is, like, nice and receptive, but it's that weird thing where... I think Chuck E. T. had a tweet once where it was like, hey, does do your podcast mean I just talk to you and your friend for an hour? And, like, that's it?
Well, he might have had a bad, like...
Oh, yeah. I've done them.
Yeah, I've done them, too.
You call up and it's just, you realize basically a fan has gotten you on the phone for an hour.
Yeah. I hate it when they ask you, like, what do you think about what's going on in the WWF with Daniel Bryan?
And then that's what they want to talk about.
And then it's like, first off, that's not my character at all. What are you asking me this for? And you just want a wrestler's opinion. It's like, nah, fuck off.
Yeah, and they want to talk. They want to talk about WWE for 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's kind of like you talk about WWE storylines for an hour.
Yeah.
It's like that's the beauty of wrestling is its simplicity, and it's kind of like how it's cool to be a fantasy booker and stuff, and it's fun, but it's like you're gonna talk to. You're going to talk to another fictional wrestler from another universe about, like, what are you assuming? Because I have this pet peeve where I don't even like it when guys in the WWE, like, wear Nikes or wear, like, Air Jordans, because to me it's like saying, like, oh, so what are you, watching the NBA when you're not here? Or are you, also... to me, it breaks kayfabe a little bit.
Really?
Nikes and Air Jordans in a way that...
I think you're crazy.
In a way that... I know, my friends think I'm crazy too, but in a way that other shit doesn't.
Like in the ring? Or...
It's like, alright, so
they shouldn't wear
everything
shoes?
These guys are wearing in the WWE is like custom,
Oh,
like
okay.
Custom stitched... They went as far to get custom stitched tights with like their name on it. And like a design that's catered to them. Then they're going to throw on a pair of Air Jordans. It's like that anyone can go buy.
After the show?
No, I mean when they're in the ring. Like in the ring.
Who's wearing Air Jordans?
Batista, he wears Air Jordans.
Those are Air Jordans?
Yeah, with like a little thing on the side. Like
Really?
He's got like... Yeah, and I've seen a few guys like... I think
when he's wrestling?
Yeah, I've seen guys wear sneakers.
Oh, like on indie shows?
On WWE shows.
What are you talking about?
Cena wrestles in sneakers.
Oh yeah, well Cena can do whatever the
but
fuck
I like
wants.
Cena. He's not one of the guys I'm shitting on.
$20.
I think I've seen guys wrestle on WWE shows with like nice sneakers, like designer sneakers, and to me I'm just like that. To me, like
maybe I just look past it.
Yeah, see, I'm all in that.
I got bad eyes, so I don't wear my glasses when
I get real into gear. My friends like kind of make fun of me for that. That's maybe like. I'll dislike a guy on gear. Like, I'll be like, Christian's gear is so ugly. I hate Christian.
I love Christian.
Everyone loves Christian. I like old Christian. I don't like current Christian and his yellow skin
mesh vest.
I like the long hair. But I do like Christian's moves. Like, I like I just
You're such a mark.
I just don't like his gear. I am.
I just put Christian's move
I'm marking out,
body.
bro. And that guy used to say, I'm marking out, bro. Bruh. So ring rats and groupies, we never really talked about it.
Jesus.
Well, actually, we did kind of talk about it.
No, we kind of
Neither one of us has a lot of experience.
Yeah, I mean, there was one rat back, like, probably around 2006, and she was going through all the boys in this company that I was working for, and, she'd go through the good-looking ones, and then some straggler would get her. I never did anything with her, but one fucking guy did, and got her pregnant, but I'm pretty sure it was the first time he ever had sex with anyone.
And she kept it?
Yeah. She kept all 3 of them. And a lot of us think that it wasn't even his kid.
Oh, God.
We think it was one of the other guys who just dodged a bullet.
Did he pay?
Oh, he's still raising it. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
It's okay. He's a fucking idiot.
Kid's gonna start looking like it.
He's gonna be 6 feet tall, and his dad's fucking 5'1".
Oh my god, man. That's a nightmare.
Oh yeah, it's great.
So, what'd she look like when she was working her way through everybody? Good looking?
Sloppy, fucking.
That's the thing, like,
yuck.
Comedy groupies are the same. Like, it's never like the smoking hot chick. It's
No.
always like, someone, I think it was George Carlin, had like a great line. He's like, the type of woman that goes to a comedy show and goes home with a comedian is the type of woman who goes to a circus and goes home with, goes and sees an organ grinder and goes home with the monkey. And it's fucking, I guess it's the same
Spot
thing.
on.
I've met, it only happened to me like one time where I was talking to a wrestler that I knew, and like a couple chicks like came up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they're fans of his, And then like they were started hanging, and then I got that feeling you get after a comedy show, and then I was like, these are ring rats. I'm getting to meet them for the first time, and I could see, that's got to be kind of like, I don't know, that's kind of like a natural.
Yeah.
In comedy, a lot of the ring rats of comedy become comedians,
Oh, really?
Because they're just like, you'll see that like very common in the open mic scene. Like a girl will be there doing open mics. What she's really doing is trying to find a cool comic to date. And then they get that boyfriend, and then it's like they're out of comedy.
Oh.
I've seen that.
I don't know if it works so much now, but I remember, I sound like such an old vet, but I'm not. Like back when I first started, my trainer gave us a rule. He's like, don't date rats. You don't date rats. You just don't. They're rats for a reason. You just don't date them. And of course, the boys will go and fucking get them pregnant and marry them and shit. But those are the girls you want to marry, the one who are banging every fucking guy.
Every guy with a pair of tights.
Yeah, a pair of tights and gassed up pecs.
That's fucking funny. It's kind of the same with comedy, really. Then every now and then you'll hear like a great story of like a stripper who's just super hot who loves comedians.
Oh yeah.
But what do you think about? Well, here's something. I was talking about the women who do open mics and like to meet guys. That gives like all the chicks a bad name, who really want to do it.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, there's this whole thing, in comedy where, like it's a boys' club and the women have a hard time and they don't get treated the same and yada yada. Is there there's women in wrestling, and I notice it's more and more now, and each indie show seems to have like one women's match. Chikara really doesn't have any women.
I don't know. I don't work there.
I'm just saying. I'm going through all the promotions I've seen, and I'm like, I don't think Chikara.
I think they used to have quite a few. They had Sarah Del Rey before she got her job with WWF.
Oh shit.
WWE. They had a couple other girls.
They've had them on shows, yeah.
Oh yeah. They love bringing in the Japanese girls because they're awesome.
Oh yeah. But how do you guys deal with like the locker room stuff and the backstage stuff? Is there any kind of like?
What do you mean?
Well, I just mean like is
with girls there?
Yeah, I mean I don't mean like nudity. I mean like is a woman, it's the boys, right? You're back there, you're ribbing each other, you're talking shit, you're fucking.
It's just you just act exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
They might have like a little like corner that they go in that's like. Sometimes we put up like not a gym mat. Depends on where we are. They'll have like a little area so they can be comfortable while they change. They don't have to act weird around us or anything.
But there's no, would you say, like, there's no, I mean, because I say that too.
I used to get in a lot of trouble because when I first started, I was like 17. So I was like just like an asshole kid. And I would sit in the locker room with like my nuts out.
Oh, yeah.
And, just like, but there'd be girls there.
That's
and
a
they'd
classic.
get so fucking mad at me. I remember one of them got so fucking mad at me, she started screaming. I was like, this wasn't for you. This was to make everyone else laugh.
And she's acting like you're sexually harassing.
Yeah, just my nuts. Come on.
That's funny. I like stories like that.
Nuts are funny.
So, yeah, because I went to a show, speaking of a guy coming up on when you were saying that guy was like, heckling, not heckling you, but like starting chants and shit.
Yeah.
I went to this show once.
We'll say heckling.
I really got to keep this, because I don't want to like point out who this chick is, because I'm sure you know who she is. Because she's like on every indie show with girls on it. So these big guys one of the guys was about to go on to the WWE. I'm totally giving away like what show this was. So anyway, this guy, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I don't know this chick's name, but so anyway, Eddie Edwards.
Are you gonna get me in trouble?
Nah. Eddie Edwards fucking wins this great match, and it's like sending him into the WWE.
Oh yeah.
So, or his tryout, and everyone's like in the room is like so proud of Eddie Edwards, and it's really a nice moment, kind of.
Yeah.
And no one has said anything like. No one's ever come out all day and been like, he's going there and he's going to try out. But it's known, and it's this whole kind of beauty of wrestling, wink and a nod, like, we don't know where Eddie's going.
Tongue in cheek,
but he's going off to good things and da-da. And it's this great emotion. And a couple of guys came out and cut, like, quick fucking pro Eddie promos.
Yeah.
And obviously they were involved in that set match, and that was supposed to happen. Like it had a schedule flow to it. And then all of a sudden, Dino Palladino, the ring announcer, goes in and starts to get into like what's coming up next. Yeah. And you know that Eddie stuff, Eddie's gone through like kind of the curtain, and that sort of stuff is over. And then this like chick wrestler comes over, climbs into the ring, and like grabs the mic out of Dino's hand, and it's just like, I just want to say that I know both those guys, and they are awesome. And like,
you have to say it with really thick,
Fall
River accent.
And they are awesome. And we're just like, the whole crowd was just like, and it was clear that it wasn't worked out. Yeah. And it was bad fucking like bad mojo, and it just like took a great moment and kind of took a shit on it, and it was just like everyone. I just wanted to be like,
I know who you're talking about. I'm trying to weave my way around it so I don't get in trouble. Idiot.
And it's something me and my friends still talk about to this, because I was with a bunch of comedians. We still bring it up to this day at other shows, like comedy shows. We're like, it's just like that, bro. I'm just trying to get in on it, and it was so like, let's make this about me for a couple seconds, and then we can go back to it. And I just remember being like, that would piss me off so much if I were Eddie Edwards or anyone, or Dino or anybody, you know?
It happens. It happens. So.
And that brings us to an hour, actually.
I gotta go pee-pee, so.
So I know you can't talk shit about that, but that was a story. And that's at the end, so.
I don't want to insult anyone.
Most people won't hear it, but,
Did it really cut out that early into the show?
What? Wait, what?
What?
What are we confused about?
Oh, I thought you were saying that people don't listen to the whole show. So
most people don't listen to any. Most podcasts, like, 'cause even hypothetically, like I have all the data. It's been like a couple of years now, so I'm like at 90 episodes. It's like most of all those episodes combined, most people listen to like 70%, like 75%. Yeah. But like you'll see like a lot of people download a podcast, listen to it for 2 minutes, and turn it off.
Really?
Like a lot. Like a lot of those downloads, when people go, 1,000 downloads a month. Like 400 of those could be like, I thought this was something else. Yeah. Like that happens all the time. Because when I started, I used to put I would talk about famous guys that I liked, like comedians. If I started telling a story about like Bill Burr, title the episode would be like Bill Burr would be like the title of the episode.
You fucking
and then it was like people would download it thinking I had an interview with Bill Burr, and then it would just be me talking about it, and then they'd probably be pissed. But my thought process was like, they'll be so at that point they're hooked.
Yeah, I'll really get my claws into them. All right,
so. That's a wrap. Let's want to plug that wrestling school, Brian Furie's.
New England Pro Wrestling Academy, any pro wrestling.
And if you're in the Pennsylvania area, the Wrestle Factory.
Yes, the Wrestle Factory. There's nice people. I went there and trained once or twice. And what else is around here? Are there any shows you're coming up, like indie shows you're going to?
This Sunday I'm going to the CZW Beyond show, but this probably won't be up by then. But, check out NECW, Beyond Wrestling.
Don't check out NECW. Fucking
I like it. I like Sheldon Goldberg, and I like Antonio.
If you want good New England wrestling, go to Chaotic Wrestling.
That's true.
Go to Top Rope Promotions. The rest of it, stay away from it.
Support indie wrestling, though, and if you have any questions for me or Scott, send them in. You can go to willnoonan.com.
Yeah, I'll get them through him.
/contact.
Just leave me alone.
Or hit me up on Twitter or Facebook or any of those places. And thank you for listening to Spare
I'll give you
Ribs.
more, but I really got to go pee.
He's got to go pee really bad. He's selling the fact that he's super selling.
I'm kinking my penis like a hose.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. All right. Thank you. Goodbye.
More on Will Noonan at willnoonan.com. I said moron.